Studios, Dave Hughes in today in the big chair, and joining us now on the show, he is an author, he is a SuperTalk columnist, and I think he dabbles something in food. I'm not sure. Robert St. John joins us. How you doing today, Robert?
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I hadn't talked to you in a while, man.
It's been a little bit, so good to be with you again.
Now, we're going to get to your column in just a moment, because I love that you're doing this, and I love the first one, small town guy, because you are at heart, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I grew up right here in Hattiesburg. I'm in my office, which is right on Hardy Street by all of the restaurants in Midtown Hattiesburg, and I grew up probably 4 blocks south of here and currently live about 8 blocks south of here, so this is my territory.
And some people that live in smaller communities around the state may think, oh, he's in downtown Hattiesburg. That's not a small town. Oh, trust me. In the grand scheme of things, it's still got that small town attitude. But I would say probably this weekend, I'm not sure Hattiesburg would qualify as a small town with the super regional coming into town this weekend. You're about to pack a lot of people in.
Yeah, it's going to be a super weekend. We're so excited about that. And, we got the Tennessee Volunteers coming to town, and Southern Miss is such a vital part of this community, and we have 2 universities here, Southern Miss and William Carey, and both of them play a major role, but none greater than Southern Miss. I'm a graduate. I'm an alumnus of that college, and I've got my degree there. Grew up supporting Southern Miss, and we're just excited the baseball team's made it this far. Got to take 2 of these and get to Omaha.
That's all it is, and this is the year to do it. They're kind of doing it as a gift to the coach. It's the coach's last go around, and they want to send him off in style, and I think that adds something to it, and I think it probably motivates them to almost play a little bit above their heads, if that's possible. They're a good team. They're a spectacular team, but I think they may even be bumping it up a notch above that just because of the situation this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. Scott Berry's so well respected, not only in this community, in this state, but across the nation as a coach, and what he's done and what he continues to do, and the way he lives his life and coaches his players. We're tickled to death. We hate to see him go, but we certainly understand. He's put in great time and really built that program as the most winningest coach in history of this program here in Hattiesburg.
Well, exactly. And let's talk for a moment, though, because we've gotten to have this conversation before about Oxford and about Starkville, but we haven't, I don't think, really focused on the Hattiesburg aspect of this. This is a huge economic boom this weekend for the city of Hattiesburg, because we got a lot of people coming to town.
Yeah, we do, and we're excited about that. We're gearing up. We're flying the flags, and we've got school spirit going at all 6 of our restaurants and bars here. And we're only a block or so from campus. The Midtown, or our breakfast lunch place, is directly across from campus. And the rest of the restaurants are here in Midtown, within a couple of blocks from Southern Miss. So we're not far from the baseball stadium and the park there, and we look forward to all our out-of-town guests. We do not have an Applebee's here in town any longer, much to the chagrin of the Tennessee Volunteers, who were complaining a little bit. I don't know if you saw that or not, but they were complaining that Hattiesburg didn't have an Applebee's, and we kind of looked at that as a feather in our cap. But we got a lot of great locally owned independent restaurants and bars here in town. I think they're going to be happy once they get here.
Well, I know I'm about to start something, but I don't care. If you haven't been to Crescent City Grill, what are you doing with your life?
Well, Dave, you're obviously a man with good taste, so thank you for that.
We make trips over to Hattiesburg all the time, my wife and I, to go and eat there. And we have made trips specifically just to go there to eat and then leave. town. So, yeah, you don't have to do any sales job there. And I don't want to put words into your mouth, but with this special super regional weekend, I believe that Robert has a special deal going at all his restaurants where if you order something off the menu, he will charge you the menu price. It's incredible.
Yeah, that I like. I like your kind of deals, Dave. We need to work together more often. We're going to put you in the marketing department.
It's all about the promotion, baby. It's all about how you position the deal. That's all it is. Now, let's get back to your column. It is really cool that you're doing this column for us here at SuperTalk. You can go to supertalk.fm and find it right there, the Robert St. John column. And what were your thoughts about starting this? Were you excited? Were you like, I don't know if I want to mess with this? What was your thought process there?
Well, to be honest with you, I've been writing that column since 1998. So I am, whatever that is, 25 years in. I've never missed a week, 1,000 words a week. This week was certainly more than 1,000 words. But yeah, it was, I've been syndicated since the late 90s there. And the guys from SuperTalk called and wanted to start running it. And as the newspaper business is kind of headed south lately, I was happy to hop on with you guys. And, I'm a longtime listener of what y'all do. I'm a big fan. Got a lot of friends that work up there. This state needs a statewide broadcast media radio station, multiple radio stations like what you have. And everything you're doing, I'm 100% behind. So it was an easy sell for me when they called. I said, absolutely, I'd love to be on.
I want to pull something out that you just said, and I want to focus on it for a second because you made the comment you've been doing it since the 90s, 1,000 words a week, never missed a week. I want to make sure people realize how significant that is, and I'm going to ask you a question here. I just want to see what your response is. That sounds easier than it is, some weeks especially, right?
Well, I tell you what, early, I got a call from the local newspaper here in 97, 98, whenever it was. They said, we want you to start writing a food column. And I said no, probably 4 or 5 times. And they kept calling. And finally I gave in. I was almost 40 years old when I really started writing. Early on, it was bad. I cringe a little when I go read the early stuff. But after a few years, I started kind of enjoying it, and then other newspapers started calling, and we were, I think, in 32 newspapers at the height of that newspaper business. I think we're still in like 24, 25. But yeah, I tell you, I've never really. I get that question a lot, and people think, you'll have writer's block or something like that. But what I do, I learned early on. And early on, I would have an idea, and I'd go, I need to write about that next week. And then I would forget about it totally. And then 2 years later, it would come, I was going to write about that. So now what I've been doing for the last, 15, 18 years, is anytime I have a thought, I'll be eating somewhere or I'll be talking with someone. They'll remind me of something when I was a kid. Because I really just write about food and travel and growing up in the South and family and friends and things like that. And so I'll open the notes feature of my phone. I've got a title column, and then I'll just randomly put 3 or 4 lines in there. And so Monday morning when I sit down at 5 a.m. and write the column every week, I'll go, if there's some, I don't know what I'm writing about this week, I'll open up my notes feature, just type in the search bar column, and there's probably 300 ideas. And I went, I'm going to write about that. So that's how that works. I've really never had a problem, and I can do it from wherever, where I'm working overseas or traveling here or, wherever.
It's really cool to have your column on our site because you are, I know the latest one is, small town guy. You're a Mississippi guy all the way to the bone. And that's what makes it, I think, so cool that we have your column on now.
Well, I feel, the Texans always kind of take pride in being from Texas or whatever. I will tell you that you take that kind of pride and multiply it by about 3. And that's how I feel about being from Mississippi. And wherever I am across the country, you know, I never hesitate to reel off. I've got a laundry list of writers and artists and people that influence culture, not only in America but all over the world, who have come from this state. And I'm going to tell you, when the signs went up, birthplace of America's music, at the state borders, at first I was a little cynical about that, and I was like, I get that, it's a PR move. But I was working over in Italy, and somebody asked me where I was from, and I started reeling off Mississippi, and I said, I'm just a little north of New Orleans, and they, oh, jazz. I said, yeah. So I connected with them on music. I said, yeah, and I was born in a hospital right on the side of Highway 49. If you go on Highway 49 up to the Delta, across the 61, that's where the blues was born. And if you believe Muddy Waters, and I do, that the blues had a baby and they named the baby rock and roll, you go a little east, you go to Tupelo, and that's where the king of rock and roll, Elvis, and these people just lit up. And I was about halfway down Highway 45 to
Hold
tell them
on, we
about
got a
Jimmy
break.
Rogers.
Hold on. Can you stick on a minute?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
You were on a roll. I really hated to interrupt you, but we came up on a break, and I didn't have a choice. You were going, man. I was just going to let you go with it.
I knew in the back of my mind, I knew you were due for a break, but I kept going because I figured I'd get some signal, but I wasn't surprised at that. So what I was saying is I was talking to these people in Italy who had no idea really about Mississippi other than there's a river over here named Mississippi. And I told them all the blues artists, all the rock and roll musicians, and then I was about to explain Jimmy Rogers from Meridian, Mississippi, who's the grandfather of country music, when it really hit me, and I had been cynical about it, really hit me. This really is the birthplace of America's music. And the Europeans know it way better than we do, and they recognized it way before we did. But if you think about music and American popular music and rock and roll and blues and country music that is appreciated all over the world, and then it comes from the people in our state, it makes me proud. And I'm gonna tell you, the Europeans look at us as a very exotic land over here, and we sometimes can't see the forest for the pine trees. But you know, this is a great place. This is a great state, and certainly problems in the past, but we've moved past that, and it's a new day, and this is a great place to be and a great place to live. One of the best kept secrets in the country, if you ask me.
Well, and I think your story illustrates something perfectly, because when you live with something every day, when you grow up with it, when you're just immersed in it, you sometimes lose sight of just how special things can be where you're at, whether it be your city, whether it be your state, whatever, until you step outside of it, like you're talking about in that story, and somebody else reminds you, wow, you're from an incredible place. We take it for granted, don't we?
Yeah. And we have friends from Italy that come visit us all the time, and they love it. And the one thing about, you can go to maybe North Carolina, Virginia, look at some beautiful mountains, and they're beautiful countryside there. You can go to Florida Panhandle, and you got sugar white sand beaches. But, I think what we have other than the culture and the food is the people. And that's what it is. I could move and go wake up, and see a mountain view every morning, but I would be so far away from. I'm like 6th, 7th generation in this part of the world, and this is where my roots are. This is where my family is. This is where my friends are. This is where my businesses are. We planted our flag in Midtown Hattiesburg, and they're going to take me out of here on a pine box. So.
Well, and I think it's important sometimes. Because that's the other part of this whole process. You're talking about friends from Italy, going to Italy and talking to them, and it really driving home just how special Mississippi is. Sometimes we have to step out of this box a little bit. It's kind of an offshoot of the old rule, you can't miss it until it's gone. Until you get out of it, you don't realize what we really have here, and I think we take it for granted. And that's an important message to get out, I think, sometimes, and remind everyone of.
Yeah, I think Mississippi, still, we are subject to a lot of the stereotypical things from our past that held us back and held us down, and rightfully so in the past. And a lot of times, people from outside of Mississippi, whether you're on East Coast or West Coast, or whether you're in Europe, they're still buying into this media stuff that's going out. And when they meet the people, and I do tours and work overseas part of the year, and that's what I've learned is that the Europeans who meet these people I bring over from Mississippi and really all over the South, once they get to know those people, it's like, man, this is nothing like what I've seen in the movies or on TV. These people are real and genuine and hospitable and fun, and that's just it's a surprise to them sometimes, but that's why a lot of them come over here and visit Mississippi when most Europeans are going to New York, Miami, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. So.
Again, you can go to supertalk.fm and read Robert St. John's column. Is it weekly that you're sending it to
weekly,
us? Weekly column.
Yeah, it comes out every Wednesday, I believe. Y'all run it on Wednesdays. Different outlets run it different days, and there's always a photograph and always a recipe attached. And I love doing it. I'm happy to be a part of the SuperTalk family, of which I've been a fan for a long time.
Well, now you are one of us, so congratulations, you're stuck with us. We're thrilled to have you.
Yeah.
We are thrilled to have you. It's a great thing. Go check it out. Go to supertalk.fm, and you can read Robert St. John's column. Golden Eagles, you know the expression. I need to get it from you. Southern Miss what?
To the top.
That's it. That's what I was looking for exactly. Robert St. John, always enjoy talking to you, man. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to seeing your column every week at supertalk.fm.
Thanks, Dave. Have a good day, buddy. Go Eagles.
You too. Go Eagles.